Now then, Jamaica's lure is sun, sand and sea. But many Jamaicans can't afford to enjoy that, especially if they don't have the ability to book into a fancy hotel or pay a hefty entrance fee to visit the beach. Now, the battle for free access to Jamaica's beaches is already in court in one case, and there may well be some lawsuits coming soon.
The battle for the Winifred Beach is one which has been going on for some time now, with the Free Winifred Benevolent Society taking the Urban Development Corporation UDC to court, a case which has been going on for some 4 years.
And the story started when Winifred Beach, for the ones which don't know, is in Portland, near to Ferry Hill, is one of the few public beaches in the area, and it's a heritage place where people are gathering since 50 and more years. And then UDC decided that they want to take over the beach, so we find a notice on the tree stating that all the vendors and people over there should have left within 2 weeks.
That's when the people decided they'd fight to keep the beach, as they say their situation is a perfect example of how other beaches are taken away from the people of Jamaica.
And that was bringing the full issue up about the possibility for each area, each parish, each zone to have places where they can go for free without being compelled to pay money. And on the other hand, that place is a history of Portland. His fathers, grandfathers, children and grandmothers using the beach since generation. On the beach there is a set of people working there. Some of them are there since 33 years. And if they have to evacuate the beach, what they're gonna do?
She points out that the court challenge is not about challenging UDC's ownership of the property, but to protect the heritage of the people of Portland and to maintain their access to the beach. The UDC and the Free Winifred Benevolent Society have had at least 2 mediation sessions as part of the court case. Carla Gulato says after those meetings she thought that there was a consensus to move forward, but she was wrong. Morris is a craft vendor on the Winifred Beach, and he believes that privatizing the beach would be a great loss to Portland, and that's why the people are willing to fight for it.
Well, it will be really bad for me, not only just because of what the business that I do, but it's also bad for me in a sense that, and my other fellow brothers and sisters, that we don't have anywhere to go and swim. This is the only public beach that we have to go and swim, and to release stress and to have a good time, Everybody swim and enjoy themselves for a while, and go on back, Yeah, man. And we can't afford to lose a beach like this. So, I mean, if we cannot be here, I don't think whosoever want to take it away can be here, Because even Paul Bogle, Marcus Garvey, all them man, them every year then celebrate them as national heroes. So, I mean, if you come to the test, that we have, even me talk not only for myself, but me have a bridge in them. If you come to the test that we have to give up your life, that the younger one them can survive, well, and have this beach free, well, that's how it's going to be.
The people who are fighting for Winifred Beach wants Jamaica to know that the fight isn't just one for Portlanders.
If UDC take away this beach, we won't have another public beach here in Portland. So we are asking the people to come and defend us, fight with us, because we are all Portlanders and we all like to see it. If you notice, all the other beaches around Jamaica have been taken over, developed, and people don't have free access as they want to. And when you look at Winifred Beach, this is one of the top class beach. All over the world, people talk about Winifred Beach. If you go on the internet, if you go on YouTube, if you go on website, everything is about Winifred Beach. On holidays, we have people from all over. Thousands of people here. School children, church people, all over. And we are begging, we are asking people, come support us. We go back to court, we are asking to help us defend Winifred Beach as a public beach. Come and help us, because we need the support of the people. We need to stand up for our right here in Jamaica and in Portland.
Not everyone is against privatization, especially if promises to include locals are kept.
The venue is really established. People from all over the world come to Winifred, but they are crying over the road and the facilities. We need water and electric, and we don't need to give it up for UDC to take it over from the poor people to develop it up. We would like UDC to develop it up with us on the place, and whatever profit we can share and get something out of it.
On the other hand, some people do not believe that the people will be factored into the development plans.
They can partnership with the community, but I mean, I see several places in reach for like the UDC come and say they're going to fix and work with the people. I mean, they fix the work out the people instead of working with the people, so this is a trick, man. We have been tricked so many times. You know, you can't fool everybody all the time, man. You know, I've seen it happen with Blue Lagoon. I see it happen at Frenchman's Cove, Sansan Beach, you know. So once someone can't fool so much people all the time, man. People are sensible and know what's going on, man.
The people of Ocho Rios are fighting their own battle against the privatization of popular recreational spots. The residents say they have steadily lost acres of coastline and with it free access to the beaches in the area due to private development. One group in Ocho Rios that is uneasy about what's happening is the Ocho Rios Ministers Fraternal. Chairman of the group, Jonathan Hemmings, says the group has an issue with how stakeholders in the tourism industry go about development as they often exclude locals.
Denial of access to the public beaches is but one manifestation of that. And we have seen this taking place on a systematic basis over time.
He says the Little Duns River protest was necessary to ensure that residents weren't denied access to yet another recreational spot.
Presently, there seems to be a willingness on the UDC to step back. And they have made some promises that we are awaiting their fulfillment. Promises to the end that the development, one, will not in any way deny persons access, and in fact that the development will involve providing more facilities that the local persons can better enjoy that little piece of property.
The fact that the coastline has been increasingly privatized does not sit well with the Ministers Fraternal, especially the fact that several beachfront properties owned by the UDC are oftentimes closed off to the public.
Any observant person traveling from, say, Portland to St. James could easily get the sense that the coastline is one long garrison that has been set up to keep persons out.
He argues that privatization of public beaches alienates Jamaicans from what rightfully belongs to them. He says that when privatizing beachfront property, there should be a clause negotiated to allow free access to the beach as done in other Caribbean countries. Many countries in the Caribbean have this type of access clause written explicitly into law. Barbados law, for example, speaks about the fact that all beaches in Barbados are open to the public. Properties which front onto a beach may own the land to the high watermark only. In Barbados, access to the beach is a right for every citizen, and many of the seafront properties must provide a public right-of-way across their land to the ocean. In Antigua, the Physical and Planning Act of 2003 states that citizens should have free access to all beaches in the country at all times. And that's why the Ocho Rios Ministers Fraternal isn't ruling out taking legal action against the government.
I was made to understand that there is something in the Charter of Rights that guarantees that we should have access to an unpolluted environment. Now, I would want to think that the beach and rivers would be part of the environment to which we have rights and access. And I think that I am prepared if others will come on board to challenge what now exists, to see if it can't be changed. Because I think the very dignity and worth of our people depends on this.
I have seen what happened in Ocho Rios with the Little Show Park Beach and the support of the churches. I would love to see Portland churches trying to support the same issue. I do not believe in miracles, so I believe that there must be a power of the people in the area, not to fight just to fight, but to stand and say we need community areas where we can gather without spending 700 Jamaican dollars per person to go to the beach.
All right, so there it is. On the spot with us in studio is Marie Chambers. She's the manager of the Legal Services branch at NEPA, National Environmental Protection Association. And joining us on Skype is Amber Crowell, who's a Free the Beach advocate in Ocho Rios. You might know her better as DJ Amber. All right, let me start off here because you picked up on something he was saying in the new Bill of Rights.
Right.
Where he said, from his understanding, it's free access to the beach. Right. That's not quite true.
Not quite true. Not based on how the laws are worded, no. The Beach Control Act, which is the main act that governs access and management of beaches and coastal resources in Jamaica, does not provide, under the law, for free access to all our beaches. It really does not. What it does provide in our particular section is access if you have a right based on certain provisions in the Act, and there's also a provision for public recreational, the gazetted public recreational beaches, and it provides that even for the public recreational beaches that are gazetted, that there is provision for a fee that can be charged for access to those beaches.
All right, so I'm not sure. Is it in our Constitution that we are guaranteed access to the beach, albeit not free?
Correct.
Now, what happens if somebody has a big hotel on the beachfront? Mm-hmm. Well, how may get access to it? I can't walk through the People Hotel.
Right. There are some places that there's provision for access through the facilities, through the land that the hotel is on, where the public can derive access through the land. And there are other hotels where you'd have to pay a day pass, where you'd have to pay to actually get access to the beach, or what we colloquially call the beach.
Right, because NEPA's determination of beach is where you say water meets land.
Precisely.
Not pretty sand and anything like that.
Not the sand. Under the Beach Control Act, the Beach Control Act does not define the word beach. There is provision under the regulations for beach, but even the regulations that defines beach based on what the Beach Control Act says. What the Beach Control Act says is that you have the foreshore and you have the floor of the sea. And the foreshore is that area where the sand is usually wet by the tide coming in and the tide coming out. That's the foreshore. And then the floor of the sea is the water column, the sea, the floor of the sea, and all the inhabitants therein. But the Beach Control Act, just the jurisdiction under the Beach Control Act ends at the high water mark, the ordinary high water mark where the foreshore ends.
So it don't go up to the part where you want to lay out your towel and lie down and take sun.
Precisely. It doesn't go beyond that area.
By definition then, my access to the beach could be underwater.
Precisely. Based on how the law is defined.
Based on which madman defined the law, because surely that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about access to the sand, the water, and so on. If you give me access and say, yes, man, you can take tan there. Where? Under the water.
Right. But part of the reason why the Act, because this Act it predates the Constitution. It's a 1955-56 piece of legislation. And what that Act does, or it did, was to preserve the rights that persons had in land that was adjacent to the high water mark.
So it preserved the right of the colonials who did own the land.
And ordinary persons like me and you who own land.
We never owned the land in 1955.
But ordinary persons at that time who owned land.
Right.
Because under Jamaican law, you can own land up to the high water mark.
So it was there really to protect the landed gentry who wanted to look after them beachfront property.
To manage the rights.
Let me not drag you into a history lesson. All right. Is Amber online? All right. Can I call you DJ Amber, first of all?
Sure, Simon.
All right. How did you get involved in this Save the Beach issue that you have?
All right. When I moved to Ocho Rios some time ago, back in, say, 2007, I happened to visit the little Duns River property. for recreational purposes. The first time I went there, I was blown away, you know, and I kept visiting. And one day, the caretaker for the property, who's known as History, he started to give me a little history about the property. And, you know, we started to talk, and he told me about the threat from the authorities to privatize. And, you know, they've come to look at it several times, and there are some plans in the works which, you know, the public is not really getting the full understanding of. So based on that conversation with him and several other persons who know the history of Little Duns River, I actually started a petition to, you know, fight this thing, because I really believe that we need somewhere for Jamaicans to go that is not commercialized or, you know, in such a way that, well, we have to pay to go there, and that, you know, it's something that we feel like we're being kept out. So that's one of the things that I feel is very unjust for Jamaicans. And it's a very small place. If you're ever in the area, Simon, please check it out,
right,
where the river meets the sea.
Yeah,
and
man, I've been there in the past before it was even called, I think, Little Duns River. But I'm going to come back to you because I want to know how widespread the petition is, and does it involve the likes of Winifred Beach and some of the other areas that the residents feel they're being excluded from. That's when we come back on Live at 7. All right, welcome back to Live at 7. Still with us in studio, Marie Chambers. She's the manager of Legal Services Branch at NEPA. And on Skype is Amber Crowell, better known to you as DJ Amber. We're looking at the issue of public access to local beaches. Now, as you heard from Marie, there is access. Fact is, you might just have to pay for it. But a lot of people are concerned that if the land that, say, leads to the beach is either owned by hotels or sold off by the UDC to developments, then it is simply going to mean that the average Jamaican will not have access, not even if you are able to pay, will not have access to some of the beaches. And that's one of the major concerns, certainly, for people as it relates to Winifred Beach in Portland. Amber, we were talking about it before you went to the break. How far does your Free the Beach advocacy go? Does it involve Winifred and other beaches other than just Little Duns River?
Well, Simon, the concentration is really on Little Duns River, but of course I support Winifred and all other initiatives across Jamaica for this issue, because it's a more serious issue than we really, you know, well, not we, but the authorities seem to take it for. People feel oppressed in Jamaica. We already have a stressful type of life here in Jamaica with the economy on the downturn, and so little places like these actually